Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Shabbat Shalom. We're going to give a Shabbat Shalom to everyone who's here, and we'll also invite everyone to turn around and give a Shabbat Shalom to everyone who's with us
Shabbat
remotely,
Shalom.
on a computer, on an iPad, on any sort of device. My name is Rabbi Scott Goldberg, and I am thrilled to be leading alongside the cantor Sarah Hask. And when we were thinking about our theme for this week's Shabbat service, the theme of love came to mind. And today happens to be the Jewish holiday of Tu B'Av, the 15th of the Hebrew month of Av, which corresponds to, I guess, Valentine's Day. That's how it's celebrated in the state of Israel, like in the public school system. They give each other candy, and they have a day of love. But the roots actually date back much farther than that. Originally in the Talmud, this is the day that the biblical tribes of Israel were permitted to mingle with one another, which is very interesting, because apart from that day, they weren't allowed to mingle with one another. And so in ancient cultures also, tonight's a full moon. So when the sun sets, when we're actually Shabbat under the stars, take a look at the moon, it is going to be full. We're in the 15th of the month. And in ancient cultures, the full moon symbolically is linked to full moon rituals and dances and songs and moments of love and connection. And so on this Shabbat, I pray that we can join together in all the love that we can offer one another. And we can have some song, and we can have some dance, and we can have some contemplation as well. So we can begin this weekend with joy. We'll start with Shabbat Shalom, found in our Sidurim on page 331. We're going to start from the back, 331.
Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom. 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 Just your voices. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. all take a collective breath together. Maybe close our eyes. Just take the breath you need. Everybody's breath might be different today. Maybe it's a breath of support, a breath of release, a breath of need, a breath of love. Breath, I think we underestimate it so often. Breath is what we need to survive. It flows through our bodies. It sustains us. It lets us walk. It lets us sleep. It lets us sing. Gives us this chance to fill our lungs with what we need. A few weeks ago, I shared a poem. I'm not going to read the poem today. It's very long. But I shared a poem about this idea of sometimes being stuck between our head and our hearts. And I think a lot of us have felt that way before, where we really, really want our heads to be telling us what to do, but our hearts are pulling us in one direction, and our heads telling us the rational thing to do. But how often do we rationally make decisions? Our heart is the beating breath, the beating decision maker 99% of the time, because we're human beings. And at the end of the poem, it talks about the idea that when you need a break from your head and your heart, take some time with your lungs, because your lungs are what really sustain you. When we're in need of rest, when we're in need of release, we can fill our bodies with fresh air. And how wonderful to be sitting out here in that fresh air, sort of. You know, it's Los Angeles. But the fact that we can be sitting here breathing together, it's a big thing that we take for granted. So I hope that as we enter into Shabbat, we can all breathe together. Because that we know, with whatever else is going on in our lives, the breath remains constant. So let's just take a moment. If you feel comfortable, to close your eyes. Feel the floor under your feet. And just feel what your breath is today. Listen to it and let it tell you what you need. Allow yourself to take that time to just breathe. We'll join together in L'Chadodi on page 20. Page 20. There you go. Ya la 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 L'Chadodi, ya la 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 Likrat Kala. Ya la 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 Penei Shabbat Nikabela. Ya la 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 L'Chadodi, ya la 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 Likrat Kala. Ya la 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 Penei Shabbat Nikabela. Zachor, verse 1. B'dibur echad ishmianu el hamiuchad Adonai echad u'shmo echad. לשם ולתפארת ולתחילה. יאי לי לי, יאללה לה 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 לך דודי, יאללה לה 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 לקראת קלה, יאללה לה 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 פני שבת, פני שבת נקבלה. Verse 2. לקראת שבת לכו ונלכה, כי היא מקור הברכה, מראש מקדם נסוכה, סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה. יאי לי לי, יאללה לה 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 לך דודי, יאללה לה 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 לקראת קלה, יאללה לה 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 פני שבת, פני שבת נקבלה.
Verse 5.
התעוררי, התעוררי, כי באורך קומי אורי, אורי אורי, שיר דברי, כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה. יאי לי לי, יאללה לה 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 לך דודי, יאללה לה 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 לקראת קלה, יאללה לה 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 פני שבת, פני שבת נקבלה.
We'll rise in body and spirit, and we'll face the entrance to greet the Shabbat bride.
בואי ושלום, עטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה וצהלה, תוך אמונך עם סגולה. בואי חלה, לך דודי, יאללה לה 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 לקראת קלה, יאללה לה 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 פני שבת, פני שבת נקבלה.
The Baruch Hu can be found on page 28. We'll get ourselves ready. We'll get ourselves physically ready and spiritually and emotionally ready for us to pray together as one community. The Baruch Hu on page 28.
Yalla lai lai lai, 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 yalla lai lai lai. Yalla lai lai lai, yalla lai lai lai. Barechu et Adonai hamevorach. Baruch Adonai hamevorach leolam vaed. Yalla lai lai lai, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la.
Because our service is about love, on page 32 we'll find Ahavat Olam. And I want to invite you to, if you feel comfortable, you can remain standing. Also, if you'd like to sit, you can sit. The Shema will come after the Ahavat Olam. And the Ahavat Olam is a beautiful prayer about God's undying love for us. So no matter how we're feeling, if we're in a moment where we feel like we need some love right now, the Ahavat Olam prayer, that's for us to focus on that love that we can receive from the universe in any way that we can. We'll join together on page 32 for Ahavat Olam.
Ahavat Olam, Beit Yisrael, Amcha ahavta, Amcha ahavta. Torah u'mitzvot, chukim u'mishpatim, otanu limadeta, otanu limadeta. Al kein Adonai Eloheinu b'shokbeinu uvkumeinu nasiach bechukecha v'nismach b'divrei Toratecha u'b'mitzvotecha le'olam va'ed ki hem chayenu ve'orech yameinu uvahem negei yomam v'layla negei yomam v'layla ve'ahavatcha al tasir mimenu le'olamim baruch atah Adonai ohev amo Yisrael ohev amo Yisrael.
The Shema can be found on page 34. We'll continue with all of the love within ourselves.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בם, בשבתך בביתך, ובלכתך בדרך, ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
In the stories of our Torah, God has many facets. God is forgiving sometimes. Other times God can be angry. Sometimes God can feel giving and compassionate. God has many facets. And in Mi Chamocha, our story of when the Israelites are redeemed by God's mighty hand, I imagine God being a compassionate, giving God, allowing a people to be redeemed from slavery. And I've always been curious about this moment in Jewish history, and what would it be like if we were as compassionate and giving and open as God was to the Israelites in our own lives? Now we're going to do an activity here, so stay with me. We're going to take about 40 seconds, and I invite you to turn to a neighbor, turn to a friend, turn to a loved one, and reflect on that question. What would it be? What would it look like if you were as compassionate and giving as God was in this moment? What would it look like to be compassionate and giving? And also feel free to introduce yourself and wish them a Shabbat Shalom.
40 seconds.
If you haven't switched yet, switch. If you haven't switched yet, switch.
Yeah? Okay. Who is like you, Adonai? Who is like you, Adonai?
Page 40.
מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש, נורא תהילות, עושה פלא, נורא תהילות, עושה פלא. יאי לי 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 לי, יאי לי 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 לי, יאי לי 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 לי. Who is like you, Adonai? Who is like you, Adonai? Yai lai 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 lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai 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 lai. I want to share with you a poem written by a beautiful poet. His name is Aldin Salavi, and if you have not heard of his poetry, you should look him up. He's a poet in Israel, but lives here. He's kind of all over the place, and he's written a lot for, in particular, the Reform movement has adopted a lot of his poetry into a lot of our publications, and we also have publications of his in the CCAR. I know they sell his poetry as well. And this is called An Umbrella of Blessings. God of mystery, God of wonder, your world is an umbrella of blessing. Your wisdom a canopy of holiness and light, a shelter of awe and wonder. Ancient ones, your blessings protect the strong and lift the humble, guard the joyous and support the grieving, guide the hopeful and raise the downcast. Your tent is the arch of the heavens. Your drape is the firmament of sky. Your blessings quench our thirst, feed the land, fill our hearts, bring hope and healing. Blessed are you, Ancient One. You cover our lives with an umbrella of blessings, filling our days with joy and thanksgiving. And as we prepare to sing our prayer for that protection, Hashkivenu, may we feel that umbrella over our heads. May we feel that embrace of blessings that God provides us, that we provide each other as we sing together our prayer. I think one of our healing prayers, a prayer where we say, I need healing, I need protection. And so I invite us all to join in together as we sing Hashkivenu. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu L'Shalom, L'Shalom, V'ha'amidenu Malkeinu L'chaim, Ufros Aleinu Sukat Shlomecha, Ufros Aleinu Sukat Shlomecha. Amen. Shelter us beneath thy wings, O Adonai. Guard us from all harmful things, O Adonai. Keep us safe throughout the night, till we wake with morning's light. Teach us, God, wrong from right.
Our Amidah, our standing prayer, can be found at the beginning of page 46. And for our standing prayer, we'll recite the first three prayers together. And for the remainder of the time, we'll invite you to recite whatever prayers you need to recite. And that may be the prayers on the pages. That may be the English interpretations. That may be the prayers of your hearts. We'll join together. We'll rise as we're able on page 46 for our Amidah.
Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi yagid tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu ve'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, Vekonei Hakol, Vezocher Chastei Avot ve'imahot, Umevi geula livnei v'neihem, למען שמו באהבה, מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן. ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל אתה רב להושיע, מוריד הטל. מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, צומח נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומדומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה, ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני, מחיי הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש. Well, the sun is surely sinking down, but the moon is slowly rising. So this old world will still be spinning around, and I still love you. So close your eyes. You can close your eyes. It's all right. I don't know no love songs, and I can't sing the blues anymore, but I can sing this song. You can sing this song when I'm gone. It won't be long before another day. We're gonna have a good time, and no one's gonna take that time away. You can stay as long as you like. So close your eyes. You can close your eyes. It's all right. I don't know no love songs, and I can't sing the blues anymore, but I can sing this song. You can sing this song when I'm gone, and I can sing this song, and you can sing this song when I'm gone.
I want to invite everyone to think for a moment. And if you feel comfortable, you can lower your gaze or close your eyes. It's up to you. I want to invite you to think of someone whom you love. It can be anyone. And there are many different types of love. It doesn't have to be romantic. Anyone you hold dear. They might be sitting here right now. They might be somewhere else right now. They might still be in this world. Or they might have died. Think of someone whom you love and hold that person in your mind, in your heart, and consider all the ways in which you love them and you have loved them. British poet Robert Graves defines love beautifully. A recognition of another person's integrity and truth in a way that makes both of you light up when you recognize the quality in the other. I really appreciate that definition. Recognizing another person's integrity that makes both people just radiate. How can we show love to our greatest potential? When we love someone to the moon and back, and we may be lucky if they love us in a similar manner, how are we meant to show our love? How can we do it the best? American author Gary Chapman posits that there are 5 languages through which we can offer love to someone else. The first of which is words of affirmation. For example, we can write letters, we can talk on the phone, or Zoom now, or we can simply be in conversation with words. The second is quality time. Time that's set aside for paying full and complete and undivided attention to our person. Giving gifts is the third. This is one of my wife Liz's top love languages. She's the best. She's the best because she buys me gifts that she knows that are perfect for me, which are inexpensive and utilitarian. It's hard to find gifts that are both inexpensive and utilitarian. She most recently purchased a headphone splitter for me so that we can listen to podcasts on long flights together. The fourth is physical touch. Hugging, kissing, sex, holding hands, anything. And then the last, acts of service. I think this is how I show my love to Liz. They call me in the house Captain Kitchen. So I'm in charge of the dishwasher. I'm in charge of the countertops. I'm in charge of stocking and emptying everything. And I think that's one of my ways that I show my love. There's no one right love language for anyone. You may find that you gravitate toward one or away from another, but they can all be present if you want. And something that I've been wondering recently, what does Judaism in particular say about love? How can we emit love Jewishly? What does it mean to love in a Jewish way? Love is central to Judaism. Love is central to our tradition. In our Torah, God commands Israel to love many times and in many different ways. Love your neighbor as yourself, we hear often. Love the stranger. It's said 36 times in Torah. Love the stranger because you were once a stranger in the land of Egypt. And in this week's Parsha, we might find familiar. You can join if you know. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha. You shall love Adonai, your God, with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your might. My teacher and our wise rabbi, Tamara Eskenazi, explains that these 3 commandments are 3 dimensions of one single deep connection. To love God is actually to love others, both those like us and those not like us. Love in Judaism is all-encompassing. As Jews, we're commanded to expand our capacity for what it means to love. And it doesn't just mean our families. It doesn't just mean our friends. It doesn't just mean our partner. But we're supposed to love those who are like us and those who are not like us. Loving someone who's like us is simple. We might be able to empathize more easily with those who are like us. We might speak their language. We might vote in the same way. We might look similar. And perhaps we can better understand their story. But how are we supposed to love someone who's not like us? What does it look like to love someone who's different than me? One who believes differently, one who holds different opinions, one who doesn't know my tradition, whose tradition I don't know, or they don't know where I come from. They don't know my story. For those people who are not like us, we must love in the words of the Ve'ahavta, with all our heart, with all our soul, and with all our might. Spanish rabbi and commentator Ibn Ezra, the sovereign of medieval Hebrew grammar, so he's one of my favorites, he teaches us how we can love. With all our heart. Our heart refers to the soul of knowledge. It's the rational soul. When we love with our heart, we intellectually know that the person across from us, even if we don't know them, we know that they deserve love. And when we love with all our heart, we can let them know that they deserve love and that we can love them and that they're created B'Tselem Elohim, in the image of God. When we love with all our soul, Ibn Ezra says, the soul refers to the body. It is the spirit which lusts. Its power is manifest in the liver. It's the gut. So what Ibn Ezra is saying is that we might feel a funny sensation in our stomach sometimes when we're in love. And that feeling, it might feel uncomfortable, and perhaps it's because it's a new experience. According to Ibn Ezra, that feeling is the soul of the body. And when we feel this, we can name it, and it might feel new, especially if we haven't loved someone not like us before. And we can talk about it and we can share that feeling. And then lastly, to love with all our might. The meaning of me'odecha means very, very much. It means that we should love to the utmost in any way that we are able. Your heart should be totally committed to love. When we love with all our might, we know that there's always more love within us to give. Acts of service, words of affirmation, These don't cost anything, and they don't take much time. But they take me'odecha, they take might, they take very, very much. Today is the Jewish holiday of Tu B'Av, the 15th of the Hebrew month of Av, our people's holiday of love. The ancient rabbis celebrated this day as a matchmaking day. They said there were no better days for the people of Israel than the 15th of Av, because on this day, the young folk of Israel would go out dressed in white and dance in the vineyards. They would court one another, saying, "O dear one, with whom would you like to spend the rest of your life?" Today is a day to consider those we love, how we love them, and those in our lives and far from our lives who need a bit more love. We can go back to that person that we've been holding. And we can consider the ways in which, after leaving tonight, you can hold them. You can hold them close. You can love them. And you can love them more. You can love them with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your might. And you can take that love and you can multiply it very, very much. And you can love in a Jewish way. You can include more and more people in your circle of love, people you don't even know. On this Shabbat and beyond, may the love that you emit transform into Jewish love. And may it extend out far beyond your home, beyond your gates, and help guide us through whatever uncertainty, whatever this pandemic has in store, toward clarity and toward compassion. Ken Yehi Ratzon, may it be God's will.
That same love, that attention, we open our hearts to those in our world who are in need of healing, be it of body, of mind, or of spirit. We send out that love via a phone call or a meal, all these ways that Rabbi Goldberg was talking about showing love. And so much of that can be shown in helping others. So I invite you to, as my eyes meet yours, share a name of somebody who you are thinking of today who is in need of that healing. Hold them in your heart, and we'll join together in our prayer for healing. We take all of those names into our hearts as we join together in our prayer for healing, our Misha Berach. Those words can be found on page 253. Shebeirach Avotenu Mekor habracha leimotenu. May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Mi shebeirach imotenu mekor habracha lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say
We'll rise in body or in spirit for the Aleinu, found on page 282.
Aleinu leshabeach la'adon hakol, la'tet gedula le'otzer breshit, shelo asanu kegoyei ha'aratzot, velo samanu kemishpechot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkenu kahem, vegor aleinu kechol hamonam. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד, ושמו אחד, ושמו
There are stars up above, so far away we only see their light, long, long after the star itself is gone. And so it is with people that we loved. Their memories keep shining ever brightly, though their time with us is done. But the stars that light up the darkest night, these are the lights that guide us. As we live our days, these are the ways we remember. As we recite Kaddish Yatom this evening, we especially remember Annette Aids, Winifred W. Beck, Joseph Berkowitz, William H. Berman, Dorothy Boris, Gladys Cutter, Samuel Engelman, Alexandra Fischel, Gus Galansky, Mary First Goldman, Bruce Hockman, Elaine Hoffman, Isidore Coleman, Addie Kopp, Joyce Leance, Brian Lewenstein, Paula Mochtinger, Herman Millman, Mary Nemmer, Ruth Reynes, Philip Saltzman, Adrian Sharlock, Ruth Freeman Solomon, Jana Trebisch, Beatrice Tubby, Jonathan Wirtschafter. If there is anyone whom you are remembering, or if I pronounced your loved one's name incorrectly, feel free to share their name out loud with our community, and you can rise as you're able. Thanks. Thanks. We'll rise as one community for the Kaddish Yatom, found on page 294. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, ba'alma divra chirute v'yamlich malchute, b'chayechon uviomechon, uv'chaye dechol beit Yisrael, ba'agala uvizman kariv v'imru amen. Yeh shmei Rabbah mevarach le'alam ul'almei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yit'aleh v'yithalal shmei dekudsha barichu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechamata da'amiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehi shlama Rabbah min shmaya v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom bimromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol yoshvei devel v'imru amen. Oseh shalom. May the divine spirit, the God, that which we don't know, bring peace upon the earth, bring peace upon our people, and bring peace to us as we need it.
Oseh shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru amen. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael.
Shabbat shalom,
Shabbat
everyone.
shalom,
Shabbat
everyone.
shalom.
I talked to Lisa this week. She was supposed to add Sidney Foreman to the list because it was supposed to be for